Have you been triggered by something that has had you say enough, like not another month, day, minute? This point feels really quite amazing when you arrive at it, when you arrive in a space where you completely come into yourself and you make the call to say no more of that thing, to stop giving any more of yourself to something that isn't reciprocating, appreciating, or sending you love whatsoever in any way. What happens in that moment is oftentimes we reach the end of a rope emotionally, mentally, intellectually. We're done allowing, giving time and energy to being undervalued in some way. Now, because it's you that's choosing to stay in whatever the thing is, a job, a relationship, your own maybe unhealthy body, it's always you that chooses in that moment to be enough, to be worth it. When you put your foot down and say enough to something that isn't reciprocating to you, in that moment, you are choosing you are enough, that you are worth more or worth different. So the flip side of that coin is every time you stay in something that continues to trigger you, you're continuing to tell yourself that you're not enough. Empowerment and momentum go hand in hand. And here's the clincher. You have to be willing to act. In the moments when you have the inner narrative of, I can't believe I'm still in this relationship, job, body, whatever it is, that's the moment when action from empowerment creates momentum. And it's much easier to move yourself away from what you have been doing toward what you want, to move through the fear that can often follow when you're about to make a big change. Now, some people call this diving off the deep end, taking a giant leap, and it certainly can feel like that. And it can also feel quite easy. It's a whole spectrum, really, of what can happen in that moment. Now, I decided I had enough in my corporate career, that the lack of reciprocity and demonstration of value, enough broken promises from advancement, enough underpaid, enough being undervalued. I decided on a Thursday evening, told my son and husband, I'd like to take you to dinner. I want to share my plan. I let them know what was going on. I created my own business. I called my manager the next morning at 8:15 a.m. I had had enough. I felt empowered. I acted. And yes, there was this sense of like fear and oh no, and will it work? And what helps with that is also holding that inner narrative of, I just told myself that was enough. And to not allow any sort of saboteur narrative to stop you from acting.